I'm going to ask you to stand with me and recite the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Mr. Clerk, a roll call, please.
Alderman Bachman, absent. Alderman Dorhoff, absent. Alderman Milner,
Present.
Alderman Reeves,
Present.
Alderman Miller,
Present.
Alderman Dickerson,
Here.
Alderman Davidson,
Present.
Alderman Turner,
Present.
and Mayor Bowman.
Present. Thank you. We do have a quorum. We're going to begin with ceremonial presentations tonight. I'd like to invite Representative Donna Fouch and Brianna Chiodini to the front of the room.
Well, thank you, Mayor. It is with extreme pleasure, Brianna, I am so happy to have you here tonight. She is the first woman to receive this award, to be able to go to the Naval Academy, and we need more and more people like that. And so, Brianna, my heartfelt best wishes go to you, and this has been signed by Elijah Hart, Speaker of the House, and this is from the House of Representatives, and thank you so much.
Thank you.
Please, do whatever you need.
Slide. Just make sure we don't have the white screen. Ready? Big smile. 1, 2, 3. All right. Thank you.
But you're not done yet. You know, Brianna is the first female student from Harrisonville High School to go to the Naval Academy. That is quite an accomplishment. She and I share something very special as Harrisonville's first female mayor. She and I have had the conversation that when you're first at anything, there's certain things that are required of you. And so I know she's going to use her platform as I'm going to use my platform just to communicate to young people, particularly to young women, that you can do anything you want to if you put your heart and mind and soul in it. So I'm going to read the proclamation for you. It is long. It's because you're wonderful.
She is wonderful, but I've chosen.
It says, whereas, and you all, I believe there's a copy of this in the packet, and anyone in the audience that would like a copy of it, we can certainly make that available to you as well. Whereas Brianna Chiodini is an immensely community-oriented and talented young woman whose accomplishments have brought pride and honor to herself, her family, her school, and her community. And whereas, as a Harrisonville High School graduate this month, Brianna has achieved high ratings in academics with a cumulative grade point average of 3.905, ranking her as number 4 in her class of 202 students, and ranking in the top 10 students of her class throughout her 9th through 11th grades. And whereas Brianna's activities, honors, and awards range from swimming, marching, concert band, show choir, theater, drama, soccer, earning top ratings at district and state competitions throughout her high school years. And whereas her academic achievements also include being named in the National Honor Society in grades 11 and 12, serving on the Students Against Destructive Decisions in grades 11 and 12, serving on peer helpers as a mentor to incoming freshmen during grade 12, attending the Naval Academy Summer Seminar, a competitive program that only accepts 2,500 students from across the country, and the West Point Summer Leaders Experience that accepts only 1,000 students across the country. And community service throughout her high school career, Brianna applied for and has been accepted to the United States Naval Academy in Annapolis, Maryland, and will begin her military training journey this summer. Now, therefore, I, Judy Bowman, Mayor of the City of Harrisonville, Missouri, on behalf of this Board of Aldermen and citizens of Harrisonville, do hereby congratulate and commend Brianna Chiodini on all of her achievements, honors, awards, and recent acceptance into the United States Naval Academy, and wish her the very best in all her future career accomplishments. Congratulations. And her proud father in the audience. Congratulations. Okay. We will open the floor for public participation. Anyone who wants to address? I'm sorry, I have one more presentation. Keep me on track. Connie, please come forward.
Hello, my name is Connie Ford. I'm with the Missouri Public Utility Alliance, and we partner with municipally owned utilities across the state, providing advocacy, training, assistance in any kind of matters that pop up. We talk to Eric and Kristen quite a bit on different things that pop up. But more importantly, we also get members together to do things like buy electricity. So Harrisonville is part of the Missouri Public Energy Pool, or MOPEP for short. When you're in the utility business, there's an acronym for everything. So MOPEP is an alliance of 35 utilities that come together to purchase electricity so they can have the cost savings of buying that electricity together. So members can decide to do things like, from the savings that they get, to do like a grant program. So back in 2015, the members voted on starting a power infrastructure modernization grant program. And the goal of the program was to assist all of the cities in making their electric distribution systems in their towns more reliable and dependable for their customers. So I'm here tonight to supply a grant check for you. Sorry, it's not one of those big checks, it's just a regular check, but this one you take to the bank, so that's good. It's for $8,237, and this goes to the cost of improvements that were made and some replacement power poles that were done during the January winter storm, one of the January winter storms. So this is the third grant that Harrisonville has received. In 2015, there was $91,000 that was used to lay some fiber optic cable that's used to control your electric system. It's called SCADA, it's the control system for your electric system. And then we also got another grant check back in January for $116,000. And that was for new transmission lines in the area of near Precision Drive and rebuilding a line on Forest Street. So all in all, since 2015, your city has received $216,598.
Very good.
And the good news keeps coming. The hard work of your electric department has really paid off. Tonight, I'm here to present on behalf of the American Public Power Association an e-reliability certification. So I'll go ahead and hand that to you, and I'll tell everyone a little bit about it. So Harrisonville is one of 12 NPUA members, so we have about 117, so it's quite an honor to get this certificate. And only 143 utilities, public power utilities in the United States receive this honor. So it says quite a bit. What happens is that the electric team enters a whole bunch of information about the electric supply, any kind of outages that happened, how long they lasted, how many customers were impacted, into the Energy Information Administration, or EIA, and that's part of the Department of Energy. So this is not only measuring against other public powers associations across the United States, but every municipally or every rural electric co-op, and also any big investor-owned utility. So it's quite an honor to receive this, and I think that everyone will agree that low power prices are important, but also in this day and age, reliable electricity is very important. So I commend the city and those in the electric staff for reaching this great honor and receiving this award from the American Public Bar Association.
Well, thank you on behalf of the city, on behalf of the staff and Public Works and all of our staff and aldermen, we thank you very much. We value our relationship with you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Now we'll go to public participation. Anyone who wants to address the board, please step forward at this time. If you would state your name and address into the microphone for the record, please.
I got a record, yes. My name is Ed Roberts, Ward 4, 1302 South Edgeville Drive, Harrisonville, Missouri. Thank you, Mayor Bowman and council members. My pleasure to be here tonight and speak to you about bringing the Vietnam Wall to Harrisonville. It has been a huge project. It has taken many months of planning, and we're nearing completion. Tomorrow evening is our next to last meeting. Things are going well, but I want to say this. Without the direction of one person, this would not have happened. He was the one that got behind us and pushed hard and said, let's get it done. Let's get some support. So we got some good people in right places, not me, but we got some good people in right places. And that's Mr. Steve Tiedemann and the American Legion who pushed this thing to the hill. Steve, if you would stand, it's a pleasure to recognize you. To start naming other names and all, I get in trouble and I'll get telephone calls, but I'll give them Steve's numbers. We have just had tremendous cooperation throughout the city. From every place we've gone and asked, what can we do to help? Lumber, completely donated by Southern Lumber Company, $6,000 to $10,000 worth of that. A carpenter union apprentice coming in from the city to build the frame and the boardwalk. That will start next Monday. Just unbelievable things that happen. Millwalk Mall and Bill Mills being so cooperative in using their land, their territory. Max Motors moving cars so we could park it. I could just go on. And I mean, the farther I go, the more people I'll leave out. John Foster, bless his heart, he's got an iPad that's paper. And he has things figured out before we can even get the machine turned on. So he is in charge of construction and watch it go. Everyone is invited over there. The timeline, how's my time doing? Am I about done? Okay, June 27th is when the wall opens. We will beat the wall at the south Sutherland's parking lot. It will be escorted up Interstate to the third exit. There it will go to its building site, which is north of B&B Theaters. We've had tremendous cooperation from Chief Hoffer. Thank you very much for all you're doing and all you hopefully will do to keep traffic flowing in Harrisonville. The Sheriff's Department has been awesome. Highway Patrol, of course, is very concerned about traffic. 40 to 50,000 people. The town is going to be on record, so we want to put a good foot forward. We just thank everybody. We hope you will come and participate either from the meeting or at the opening ceremony, 7:30 that evening, 7 o'clock that evening, excuse me. And we appreciate, Steve, what you've done. I can't believe it's going to happen, but it's going to be there. And again, thanks to everyone in the town, community, the city council, the Chamber of Commerce. You have been awesome to work with. Thank you. And do not call Judy if traffic slows down and you can't get to the grocery store. Okay? Thank you. Thank you very much.
Is there anyone else? Seeing no one, we'll move on to the approval of the minutes. First of all, the meetings of the executive session, May the 6th. Move to approve.
Second.
I have a motion from Alderman Milner and a second from Alderman Davidson to accept the minutes of the executive session, May the 6th. All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Thank you, that passes unanimously. And now the minutes of the Board of Aldermen work session, May the 20th.
Make a motion for approval. Second.
I have a motion from Alderman Davidson with a second from Alderman Turner to approve the minutes of the Board of Aldermen work session from May the 20th. All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Thank you, that passes unanimously. And now the approval of the minutes of the Board of Aldermen's regular meeting from May the 20th.
Move to approve.
Second.
A motion from Alderman Dickerson with a second from Alderman Miller. All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Thank you. That passes unanimously to approve the Board of Aldermen minutes from May the 20th. Moving on to the agenda items, we'll start with the Park Board appointments.
Mayor Bowman would like the consent of the Board of Aldermen to reappoint to the Park Board Brent Carruthers and Ed Roberts.
Move to approve.
Second.
Well, I have a motion to approve from Alderman Miller and a second from Alderman Dickerson to approve the reappointments of Ed Roberts and Brent Carruthers. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Oh my goodness, here comes the police chief.
Oh, no, no.
I'm next on the agenda.
Don't you have some handcuffs on your belt?
You want to withdraw that?
Well, we have Mr. Roberts and Mr. Carruthers both in the audience this evening, and we as a board and as a city, thank you for your service to the court. Thank you very much, Mr. President. Okay, Chief, now we'll move on. The Harrisonville Public School Foundation 5K event.
Good evening, Mayor, members of the Board of Aldermen. Before you tonight is the annual high school Harrisonville Public School Foundation 5K Run and Walk. They're asking for a date of September 14th. The run will be from 8 a.m. till about 10 a.m. They leave Harrisonville High School, run down through side streets, down to the park and back. We will have the VIPs lead this event, so there is no cost for city services. This has been going on since about 2008. No complaints or concerns. We would recommend, or staff recommends approval. I'll entertain any questions.
Any questions for the chief?
Make a motion to approve?
Second.
A motion from Alderman Milner, and a second from Alderman Davidson to approve the request for the Harrisonville Public School Foundation 5K. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. That passes unanimously. Council Bill 31, Mr. Mauer.
Council Bill 31 is a resolution to purchase a new pumper/rescue to replace engine 20 pumper tanker. First reading of resolution number 1.
Chief Marler.
Good evening, Mayor, Board of Aldermen. This was kind of a lengthy process that we did. We started this back after it was originally approved for the 2019 budget for, hopefully everybody can hear me, for a new replacement truck. We've been kind of overdue for this truck for years, at least 2 that I know of. We did a lot of background checks on what was something that would be usable to us. And like I said, in the 2019 budget, we were approved for $55,000 for the initial purchase of it. We went out for, we had at least 6 firefighters that actually are going to work on the truck themselves. I basically went in and told them, this is what I would like to see on the truck. And I basically let them build it from the ground up. There's a lot of questions about whether we were going to go with a commercial chassis versus a custom chassis. For you that don't know what a commercial chassis is, and it's basically like a truck front that you actually build, and they build a fire truck on top of it. A custom truck is basically, they build the whole entire truck from the engine up, the engine frame completely up. So basically this truck's going to be something that's going to last quite a while for the city, I think. It's competitive or comparable to what we have currently in our first out fleet. So we, a little background on everything, we went and presented this to a collective cooperative purchase through MARC, which is called Kansas City Regional Purchasing Cooperative. We basically built the truck and we had it spec'd to our specifications, and it was put out to where we received a bid back from Fell Fire, which we've purchased with them before, in the amount of $541,269. As it states in the pack, that the first year's payment will come out, if it's approved. The $55,000 will be basically an early payment. This truck, again, has about a 300-day turnaround time for build time, so we're not looking at getting it delivered until probably this time, or a couple months before. Probably, we're thinking around April is when it'll get delivered. I will also reiterate in there that originally when the city administrator Welch had approached me about it, I basically set a kind of a ballpark figure of what it would take to build it. And it did come in completely considerably lower, but after it's approved and it's presented for approval for Felt and Spartan Motors, or what's it, Spartan Motors? Spartan, which is a company out of South Dakota, to build the truck. They will have what they call a 3-week building meeting after they've approved everything. And at that time, there may be some additional costs and there may be some less costs. But it will not exceed the original budgeted amount. And it's my recommendation that we get something purchased for us as soon as possible. Entertain any questions?
Questions?
What's the lifespan? Did you said?
In a real world, probably 10 to 15 years. Some of these trucks that we have right now are surpassing 20 years now.
Notice that.
Alderman Turner.
I said, will we be able to sell the old engine 20 to get some cost to put back towards the new truck?
Well, I will tell you that we've had some interest from other departments of purchasing it. Whether we get what we think it's worth are yet to be known.
I move to approve Council for Bill 31.
Second.
Okay, I have a motion to approve Council Bill 31 from Alderman Dickerson with a second from Alderman Miller. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. That motion passes and Council Bill 31 becomes Resolution R025. Council Bill 32.
Council Bill 32 is an ordinance establishing a video conference voting policy for the city of Harrisonville, Cass County, Missouri, adding section 110.240 to the existing chapter 110, article 2 of the city code of ordinances. First reading, Council Bill 032.
So you all remember we tested this video conferencing capability at our work session tonight, and we feel like it works pretty well. Any further discussion on this or questions? All right, I'll entertain a motion.
Make a motion?
Second.
So the motion would be to pass it to second reading.
Yes, I'd like to make I'm sorry, I thought we had passed for her first.
No.
No, I would like to make a motion to advance this to the second.
Suspend the rule.
Suspend the rule and pass it to the second reading.
All right, so I have a motion from Alderman Milner to suspend the rule on Council Bill 32 and advance it to its second reading. I have a second from Alderman Turner. All in favor?
Aye.
Is there anyone opposed? Thank you. Roll call. Apologize.
Alderman Bockelman is absent. Alderman Dorhoff is absent. Alderman Milner.
Aye.
Alderman Reese.
Aye.
Alderman Miller.
Aye.
Alderman Dickerson.
Aye.
Alderman Davidson.
Aye.
And Alderman Turner.
Aye.
In second reading.
Council Bill 032 is an ordinance establishing a video conference voting policy for the city of Harrisonville, Cass County, Missouri, adding section 110.240 to the existing chapter 110, article 2 of the city code of ordinances. Second reading, Council Bill 032.
Roll call, please.
Okay. Alderman Bockelman is absent. Alderman Dorhoff, absent. Alderman Milner.
Aye.
Alderman Reese.
Aye.
Alderman Miller.
Aye.
Alderman Dickerson.
Aye.
Alderman Davidson.
Aye.
And Alderman Turner.
Aye.
Thank you. Council Bill 32 becomes ordinance 3465. Council Bill 33. Mr. Maurer.
Trying to find.
Okay.
Council Bill 33 is an ordinance to approve final plat of Harrisonville Gateway second plat, a replat of lots 1 through 4 Harrisonville Gateway subdivision of the southwest quadrant of Westchester Avenue and Missouri Highway 2 in the city of Harrisonville, Cass County, Missouri. First reading of Council Bill 033.
Mayor and members of the board, this is the Aldi site that everybody has been talking so much about. It's Westchester, and southeast corner of Westchester and Mechanic Street. All this does is just replat 4 lots. The 4 that are in blue there, across from the Casey's Street or Casey's Station. You can see that it's C2 all around there, so there's no change in zoning that's needed for the Aldi store. The proposed final plat, and there's some larger copies at your at the dais. Staff's gone through this. We recommend approval. The Planning Commission unanimously recommends approval. The final plans aren't in yet for the store. This is the concept plan, and I'm sorry, I know it's a little difficult to read, of the store that's proposed. I understand that construction will, it's tentative when construction would start, probably later on this year. They'd like to be open sometime in 2020. Here's the preliminary elevations for the store. And be happy to answer any questions. Sam Malinowski, the engineer on the project for Aldi, is also here.
Are they gonna use all the land or all the lots, or are they gonna, there's the 2 sections there, are they keeping
Right.
both of them?
The piece, the little lot in the far northeast corner, they said to the Planning Commission that, and they're gonna have 2 lots, as you noticed, that they may keep that, or they're gonna keep that possibly for a future use, small coffee, drive up, fast food, something like that. Right now, it'll just be part of the Aldi's center, or the Aldi store. I guess, something I failed to mention that I need to, we had a traffic study done on this. During most of the day, we all know we've already got a lot of congestion at that location. During most of the day, you won't notice much difference, just by nature of when people go and shop for their groceries. But during the peak hours, which is defined as like 4:30 to 5:30 in the evening, which is the peak hours, left-hand turns out of there will increase substantially. Right-hand turns out of there will probably be reduced. Right now, the average right-hand turn, well, right now during that point in time, the average time of waiting to turn is 25 seconds. The good news is the right-hand turns will be reduced to about 15 seconds. The bad news is the left-hand turns for that hour of the day will increase to an average of 70 seconds, from 25 to 70 seconds. So we talked about this. We think there's a whole lot of pluses to having an Aldi store here. Even though traffic, left-hand turning movements are going to be worse during that period of the day, we think there's many more reasons to approve this than not to. One thing that we will be coming back to you with is a proposal that we've been talking about, and I've mentioned it in the staff report, where we would, with the Aldi's construction team, they would widen Westchester just 4 feet. We don't need very much, but that would allow us to put in an extra turning lane. And with that turning lane, the numbers would be the delays would be what I just mentioned to you. We're currently putting together all the costs right now and taking a look at if we're going to have any problems with utilities. Again, the widening to get a second lane in will not be significant. I think we're only going to have to widen it about 4 feet. But it's like putting a Band-Aid on on that intersection now to try to get us through to some point in the future where we can do a major intersection improvement. Ted Martin, the city engineers, put together a concept plan for an improvement project there that would be the real solution to what we've got, the problems that we've got there now. It's given it to MoDOT. Of course, MoDOT doesn't have any money, but we want it always on their radar screen should funding become available. You know, Mechanic Street there is a state highway, and so they would have primary responsibility, but it's up to us to push them for it because there's a lot of cities around the state that are pushing their projects.
Will the building face Westchester or will it face Mechanic Street?
Face Mechanic.
Mechanic?
Yeah.
It will.
Okay.
I move to approve Council Bill 33.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion from Alderman Dickerson with a second from Alderman Miller to approve Council Bill 33. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. Council Bill 33 is,
Actually, it's an ordinance, so that's the,
Ordinance. Is that for second reading?
so that was the first reading.
I
So we need,
I'm sorry, I don't have
It
ordinance.
doesn't have ordinance by mine either.
It is an ordinance.
oh,
it's an ordinance.
I apologize, it wasn't on the agenda.
Then can I
Okay.
make a motion that we move it to a second reading?
To suspend your vote?
I second that.
Okay, I have a motion from Alderman Dickerson with a second from Alderman Milner to suspend the rule and advance Council Bill 33 to its second reading. All in favor?
Aye.
Second reading.
Council Bill 33 is an ordinance to approve the final plat of Harrisonville Gateway final plat, a replat of lots 1 through 4 Harrisonville Gateway subdivision.
Needs a roll call.
I'm sorry.
Be-
Apologize.
You can, quite honestly, you don't have to for the motion to suspend to get it to the second reading, but that's okay. If you want to have the roll call, you can do it. It's okay.
We've always done roll call.
Always done it, keep doing it. Alderman Bachman, absent. Alderman Dorhoff is absent. Alderman Milner.
Aye.
Alderman Reese.
Aye.
Alderman Miller.
Aye.
Alderman Dickerson.
Aye.
Alderman Davidson.
Aye.
Alderman Turner.
Aye.
Thank you. Now second reading.
Council Bill 33 is an ordinance to approve the final plat of Harrisonville Gateway second plat, a replat of lots 1 through 4 Harrisonville Gateway subdivision at the southwest quadrant of Westchester Avenue and Missouri Highway 2 in the city of Harrisonville, Cass County, Missouri. Second reading, Council Bill 033.
Roll call, please.
Alderman Bachman, absent. Alderman Dorhoff, absent. Alderman Milner.
Aye.
Alderman Reese.
Aye.
Alderman Miller.
Aye.
Alderman Dickerson.
Aye.
Alderman Davidson.
Aye.
And Alderman Turner.
Aye.
Thank you. Council Bill 33 is approved and becomes ordinance number 3466. Moving on, Mr. Crowe to the renter zoning public hearing.
That item is still being worked on by both staff and the applicant. We would ask that you continue the public hearing and consideration of the ordinance to the July 1 Board of Aldermen meeting. And there's 3 different actions there. Excuse me, 2 different, 3 different actions there, yes.
So item F, G, and H all apply to that,
Yes.
correct? We're postponing all of those. Okay. Do we need to have a motion, please, to postpone?
I make a motion that we postpone to
Okay.
July.
Second.
A motion from Alderman Turner with a second from Alderman Dickerson to postpone the public zoning hearing and all of the related items on Brian Renner. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you, that is approved. Are you still up, Mr. Crowe?
I think so.
All right.
I'll step back so people can see the screen. This action comes from the Planning Commission with a unanimous recommendation of approval. It's for a special use permit. The applicant's 2 Rules Ministry to operate the Joshua House, which is a boarding house for men, young men that have gone through tough times, need help getting their feet back on the ground, getting jobs. The proposed location of it is 2000 Anaconda Road in our M1 zoning district, right across from Church and Dwight. It is right next, if anybody's familiar with PF Collision. JP's Collision, it's right next door. Mr. Parnham owns the lot that is right next to his business, which is where the facility is proposed to go. You can see here it is in the industrial district. Here's a site plan of the. There's a couple site plans in your packet of what is proposed. It would be approximately a 22,000 square foot facility to handle 22 clients, up to 22 clients. The special use permit is for 10 years, renewable at that time. There are a number of conditions on it which are attached to the ordinance. We recommend approval. We think this is a good location for this sort of thing because it's right where people can get jobs, close travel distance to jobs. The program's been much smaller. It's been operating out of a house that is right there. I think they've had like 8 clients but for the last couple of years, but they're wanting to enlarge it. This special use permit would allow them to do that. There is a house that's right on the site, right up next to Anaconda Road. That would be the living quarters for the supervisor of the program. Again, we're talking about just men, up to 22 clients at a time. There would be staff in the facility with them at all times. We think this is a good use and a good location for this use, so we recommend approval. This is a public hearing item, as you notice, and I know the applicant and a few other folks are here for it.
Thank you, Mr. Crowe. At this point, I'll open the public hearing. Anyone that wishes to step forward and address this matter to the board may do so now.
Mr. Mayor, ladies and gentlemen of the board, citizens of Harrisonville. My name is Jeff Parham. I represent Two Rules Ministries, a 501c3 that operates Joshua House out at 2502 actually, Anaconda Road in Harrisonville, Missouri. We've been operating out there for a number of years, 2 to be exact. And what we're looking to do is increase our availability to help people. And I don't think the questions are what we're doing. I think our cause is just and the need is very great. I don't think the questions are how we're doing it. It's basically right out of the scriptures, to be perfectly honest with you. What we are asking for is where we can do it. It's I think this opportunity, this location is better than perfect. I think it's actually the spot to do it. I think it'll help turn Harrisonville into a shining city on a hill, to be perfectly honest with you. I believe that wholeheartedly. It is a transitional housing environment for men. It's Christ-centered and self-sustaining. We continue to operate it that way, and we continue to operate it that way. I do hope that you will find approval for this special use permit, and I guess I'll entertain any questions you may have.
Seeing no questions, thank you, sir.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you.
Chief Hofer?
Can I ask a question?
Certainly.
Mr. Barn?
Yes, sir.
Recently met with our business owners, and one of their big concerns is homelessness.
Yes, sir.
Can you explain to us how this won't increase our concern of homelessness after they come out of your program?
Well, they'll all come from this area anyway. So it's basically a Cass County thing. So I suppose, to be honest with you, Chief, I can't guarantee you that won't. I can't guarantee you that it will. This is just an opportunity, and if these guys don't want to do it, then there's really nothing we can do about that. I can encourage and I can extol and exhort and persuade and cajole, but the reality of life is homelessness, the philosophy of homelessness is actually a totally different issue. Not quite totally, but a very different issue than a man trying to not be homeless. If their choice is to be homeless, ladies and gentlemen, that's a tough nut to crack. And I don't know how in the United States of America we can actually do that. We're forced into a corner to persuade, to influence, to convince these young men, particularly people in general, that it is better to have a home and to work hard and to live an abundant life than it is to be homeless and have everything done for you. Perhaps the greatest thing I can do to encourage home ownership or belonging to a community is accountability for being homeless, sir. And as unfortunate as that sounds, and as hard a truth as that is to take, I believe it is a reality. It's I consider it a corruption of the Christian ethic to not say no when it needs to be said. I know it's very difficult for me to say, to be honest with you.
I agree with what you're saying. You've been operating for a couple of years.
Yes, sir.
Is there anybody out there now in the Harrisonville area from your program that is homeless that you know of?
No, sir.
Thank you.
I do have a question.
Yes, sir.
There is homeless women in town. Do you allow them? Or
No, sir.
just men?
I cannot. My belief and value system is such that I personally don't believe men can minister to women any more than I believe women can minister to men in life issues. I don't understand women on a. I just don't.
Out of order.
I am very nervous about this, to be honest with you, and I don't want to be considered, misogynistic and all the other things of it. I just recognize reality. My wife and I get along because we want to, and we work hard at it. But for me to say I understand her or what she feels and how she believes all the time, that's just an outright lie, and I couldn't say that. So at this time, no, sir, we're not equipped. Or actually, I am not called to do that. I'm certainly willing to expand it, but it would take a woman to do that. It really would.
Alderman Milner has a
I do
question.
have a question now that
Yes, ma'am.
that started. So where do your people come from? How do people find you, and how do they get to you?
Well, mostly it's pretty much word of mouth. We get a lot of folks from PNP, we get a lot of folks from law enforcement, we get folks from Pathways in town. Judge Rumley spoke at our meeting for, I forget what you call that. The Planning Commission, Mr. Crowe says, and he gets a lot of folks from drug court, the actual drug court that he runs there, and he sends them out to us. And he fully and completely recognizes that the reality of it is, even when these guys want to make a change, they come out of whatever accountability they have. They come out of jail, and there's no place for them to go except back to the same old couch or the same old place they were at, which is what got them there to start with. There's the opportunity, for the most part, doesn't exist at that point for them. Now, I'm not saying I can do this for them because I can't, and I wouldn't try to pull that wool over your eyes. But what I would say is, for many of them, they've already burned all the bridges. All the family members are done. This is like, your last hurrah here, if and that's, that I guess is basically the short answer to it, man. They'll most of them all do in fact come from Cass County. This is the only operation like this in Cass County. And virtually all of them come from around here, right around here. Pea Hill, we got a couple from Pleasant Hill, most of them are from Kansas, from around here in Cass County, out of Cass County Jail, those areas.
I noticed Judge Collins sitting in the back of the room, and I wondered if partially, if there's
That's the reason I'm here.
if there's encouragement from
Yes.
the court system to come
Yes,
in
ma'am.
your direction.
There actually is. I've been to Judge Rumley's court a couple of times, and for our participants, mostly seeing rewards for graduations out of his program. He speaks very highly of us. Of course, the way the drug court system is set up, they kind of, and I'm speaking tongue-in-cheek here, so maybe I shouldn't be saying this in a microphone, but they have rules about felons or ex-felons, people on probation all congregating together. But he fully and completely recognizes by the program itself that that is how recovery is made. Being out there by yourself isn't going to work. You're going to be consumed. So to come into a situation like this where we're all working on getting up the hill together is mission critical to success. So in a nutshell, the court system kind of encourages it, but doesn't encourage it. Okay?
Thank you very much, Judge Collins. Did you want to
Thank you,
speak?
ma'am. Sir.
Since I brought you up.
That's all right. I know Jeff from coaching when his son played. I come from three perspectives. I will tell you that my nephew, he didn't even know this at the planning meeting.
No, sir, I did not.
My nephew went through this program, succeeded, now works. He's one of your all's neighbors, in fact, because he lives right around here. So I got a vision of what was going on when that happened. The second thing that I would tell you, and I know the chief is worried about homelessness, and I've heard all about that. The people that are homeless, some of them, they can't control their circumstances. So I can't worry about those people. Ones that Jeff is taking in are the ones that want to be better. And so that's the thing about what he's doing is he is trying to make them better and get them somewhere. And the interesting part about it is that he gives them IDs, which is birth certificates, things like that, so he can actually get a job and have them walk down to Anaconda and right across the street to Universal Forest Products, which is where my daughter works. Annie works there. And I have no fear that one of these guys are going to do anything because, like I said, she works right across the street in the HR department. And I think one of the things that's good about this program is you can walk across the street. And, people don't realize this also is that we have bicycles that we hand out to drug court participants so they can ride bikes to go to work because they sometimes don't have licenses. So that's what's so important about this program and where this is at is it actually fits and it doesn't cause anybody any problems in the other areas of town. And so that's the thing that what he has created is a godsend for us. Somebody asked about the women. Our only facility we have in the 17th Circuit is called the Recovery House, or Lime Tree is what we call it, over in Warrensburg. So anybody that are women, we have to send them over to Warrensburg because there's no women's facility. It's very specialized. And so that's why he's talking about that. Most women can't find a place to even stay when they're going through the troubles of drugs and all that. I wish he had that, but I understand why he can't do it. So it's just, I don't think it's anything bad. It's just, again, the treatment providers are very specialized in women's issues, especially when most of the women either have children or they have special medical care needs. And that's where the difficulty becomes with women. We can't provide them the medical care that they would need in this situation. So like you said, we support it, and like you said, we want those people to succeed. So that's a way of getting that done.
Thank you, Judge. Other questions?
Yeah, real quick, I don't know if we've ever talked, Jeff. What is the minimum age for gentlemen to come in?
We've had them as young as 17, but they have to be able to make legal decisions themselves. So, you know, obviously we can't use children.
Sure.
Is there anyone else who wishes to speak pertaining to Council Bill 36? If not, I'll close the public hearing, and we'll go on to Council Bill 36.
Council Bill 36 is an ordinance of the City of Harrisonville, Cass County, Missouri, granting a 10-year special use permit to Donald Barnum and Two Worlds Ministries, LLC, to operate Joshua House, a group boarding home for men at 2000 Anaconda Road. First reading, Council Bill 036.
I move that Council Bill 36 be moved to its second reading.
Aye. Second.
Okay. I have a motion from Alderman Dickerson with a second from Alderman Miller to advance Council Bill 36 to a second reading. Roll call, please.
Alderman Bockelman is absent. Alderman Dorhoff, absent. Alderman Milner.
Aye.
Alderman Reese.
Aye.
Alderman Miller.
Aye.
Alderman Dickerson.
Aye.
Alderman Davidson.
Aye.
Alderman Turner.
Aye.
Second reading.
Council Bill 036 is an ordinance of the City of Harrisonville, Cass County, Missouri, granting a 10-year special use permit to Donald Barnum and Two Worlds Ministries, LLC, to operate Joshua House, a group boarding home for men at 2000 Anaconda Road. Second reading, Council Bill 036.
Roll call, please.
Alderman Bockelman is absent. Alderman Dorhoff is absent. Alderman Milner.
Aye.
Alderman Reese.
Aye.
Alderman Miller.
Aye.
Alderman Dickerson.
Aye.
Alderman Davidson.
Aye.
Alderman Turner.
Aye.
Thank you. Council Bill 36 becomes ordinance 3467. The amendment to public hearing.
Mayor and Board, if we could, since we've discussed an amendment that we're going to be looking at between now and the June 17th meeting, we would ask if I'll just do a brief presentation to people in the audience that are here for the public hearing, and then before we close the public hearing, if we continue to the next board meeting, the public hearing and consideration of this ordinance. With the approval of the constitutional amendment last November for medical marijuana, we needed to develop regulations for the city to govern it. In Harrisonville, the amendment passed 2,343 to 908 opposed. The parameters that the amendment puts on cities is cities may govern the time, place, and manner of operation of medical marijuana businesses that are not in conflict with the state. They can also set penalties for violating time, place, and manner regulations that it sets. What cities cannot do is prohibit medical marijuana businesses from holding their licenses and from operating, and they cannot make it more burdensome, more unduly burdensome is the term in the amendment, than what the rules adopted by the state prescribe. What we have done here is, these are the amendments to the zoning ordinance as to where the businesses, the different types of businesses can locate and what the standards are that they'll have to go by in terms of time, place, and manner. The Planning Commission unanimously recommended this. The amendments will be forthcoming in terms of licensing, construction, and enforcement. Some of the key standards, and the first one involves the amendment that we're going to be looking into. The ordinance does not allow any sort of medical marijuana businesses to be within 1,000 feet of an elementary school, secondary school, licensed child daycare center, or a church. What we have done is we have put into the ordinance that the the way the 1,000 feet would be measured would be from the outside of the building to the outside of a building housing a school or a church. For the benefit of the public, what we've been asked to look at is maybe making that by property line. It seems to be a preference that it instead of measuring from outside a building to outside a building, that we measure from the property lines, and so that's what we're going to be looking into. Another standard that we put in was that the medical marijuana businesses would be closed to the public from 10 in the evening to 8 in the morning. In terms of where medical marijuana businesses could go, dispensaries can go in our, or it's the way the ordinance is proposed, can go in our C1 and C2 local and service business districts. That's most of the areas up and down Commercial Street and 291. I don't think that there's a concern that we are going to have a plethora of dispensaries. The state's only going to issue licenses for 24 in the 4th Congressional District, which is a very large district. In terms of cultivation facilities, what we're proposing is that they would be allowed in the agricultural districts and the business park districts, M1, M2. We're told we probably will not have outdoor cultivation, although I know some farmers have expressed an interest in it because of the security reasons. These plants have been getting, getting stolen. We know of an instance over near St. Louis where somebody drove through a wall of a cultivation facility to steal all the plants out of it. So we don't think that there's going to be any going on outside, but we want to allow for it in case somebody wants to give it a try. In terms of the manufacturing facilities, we're proposed that they would be allowed in the business park, light industrial, general industrial districts. And in terms of testing facilities, although we're told that the state's estimating there may be only 2 of them because the requirements are so rigorous across the state, they're hoping they get more. The likelihood of us being the 1 or 2 that get located is, well, I guess we have as much chance as any other community. But what we are providing that they would be allowed in the same districts that lab facilities are allowed now. So we just follow that, and these are the zoning districts where labs can currently go, and we're proposing that they would be the same zoning districts that a medical marijuana testing facility could go. Those are all my comments. Again, this is a public hearing item. I'd be happy to answer any questions.
At this point, I'll open the public hearing. Anyone that would like to address the council regarding Council Bill 37 may step forward.
Mayor, Board, my name is Leanne Dickerson. My address is 2820 East Rockhaven Road. So in the last planning committee, I was asked why pharmacies can't carry medical marijuana. So those of you that haven't followed this, what happens is if person A would like to try to get medical marijuana, they have to go to a physician and they have to certify. There's a list of certifications that they have to, pain, arthritis, etc. The physician has to certify that they have that. They send it to the state board, to the Board of Health, and they get what you call a med card. So to be able to get into a dispensary, you have to have the med card and your driver's license. So not everybody can just walk in and out like they can a pharmacy. So that's pretty much why that it's, this is a very regulated area. I feel like Missouri's doing it right. They've learned from a lot of the other states that have done it wrong. So I feel like that they're doing a tremendous job. I do think that the 1,000 feet, what we need to look at is, it's 1,000 feet from what I understand is walking distance. It's not by what the crow flies. So I think that just needs to be stated somewhere. I'd be glad to entertain any questions if you have any.
The one thing we had talked about earlier was the 1,000 feet from property line.
So my understanding is that's more stringent than the state. and that cannot be done. That's my understanding, and we're working pretty close with the lawyer, and I'd be glad to have him reach out to you, or we can send you whatever you need.
Can you explain why that would not be allowed? I mean, where does it say that it can't be from the property line, and it states where it would be from?
So my understanding in what the state has regulated is it's from building to building, not property line, because somebody may be renting a space, their whole building may not, it may not be the property line. Property line's pretty big compared to what a space you're renting.
If you've got a church with a playground, you've got a school with a stadium facilities and everything else around that. I mean, I haven't read the amendment that says from the actual building. If that's what the amendment says, then obviously we'd have to go by it. If it does not say that, then I would be more apt to go for property line, because in statutory 579 for controlled substance uses real property lines, not buildings. That would surprise me if it did. But
and I could be glad to get you that information.
Please.
Yeah,
please
absolutely.
Do.
Sure.
Any other questions for Leanne? Thank you,
Thank you.
Leanne.
Thanks, Leanne. Appreciate it.
Anyone else that wishes to speak regarding Council Bill 37? Seeing no one, I'll close the public hearing. We will postpone the ordinance and reschedule another public hearing at the June 19th or June 17th meeting. Is that correct? Okay. Thank you. All right, we'll move on to Alderman and committee reports. I'll start on this end with Alderman Turner tonight.
Tomorrow night, we are having a meeting for the sewer line with the residents on Blueberry, James, and Ann to go over what we found on the video and other issues we've had on that line.
Thank you. Alderman Davidson?
I have nothing.
Thank you. Alderman Dickerson? Alderman Miller?
I'd just like to comment on, I've known Jeff Farm for quite a while now, and he has an automotive body shop repair business there at his house also, and he runs a first-class business there and does phenomenal work. I'm confident Joshua House will be a first-class facility, and we won't be disappointed in what he does. He's a good man. Thank you.
Thank you. Alderman Reese?
Can't think of a thing.
Alderman Milner?
I'll make up for yours. Okay. I just have a couple of things. Number one, I just wanted to give a shout out to the second grade classrooms at Harrisonville Elementary for their Liberty Kids store, raising $1,890 to put toward the incoming wall. That was their project for this year from the Liberty Kids store. In case you didn't go get your fingernails painted or get tattoos from them, they had an amazing couple of days of stores, and you can buy all kinds of junk that you don't need that you'll take home and donate somewhere else. But they had a ball and they did an amazing job. So kudos to them. And then the other thing I would like to just bring up is that we had a really, really good board retreat last week. That all the aldermen, the mayor, and a lot of staff was there for. And I just want to shout kudos out to the staff, because this is probably one of the first years we've done this where staff really had a lot of input. And I so appreciated you all's voices, helping us talk about stuff, giving us details about stuff that maybe we didn't have all the information about, and just throwing your ideas out there, because I just feel like that is, sometimes you all don't get credit for, people think you just follow the plan, but, the plans are yours a lot of the time. So I just wanted to shout out and say how much I really appreciated everything you did going into there, and then all your comments while we were there. I thought it was a really, really good session.
Thank you. Mr. Welch?
Everybody's got a copy of the report at your seats. If you have any questions about it, I would be happy to answer those. Otherwise, I know we have an executive session coming, so keep it short.
Questions from the media?
I was just wondering, when we have those administrator reports that you hand out, can we please have a copy of those?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
For a price.
What's new?
is on the record, by the way.
Alderman Milner.
I'd like to adjourn to executive session pursuant to RSMO 610.021. One, legal action causes action or litigation to lease, purchase, or sale of real estate.
I have a motion that we adjourn to executive session. Is there a second?
Second.
All right, a second from Alderman Reese. Roll call, please.
Alderman Bockelman, absent. Alderman Dorhoff, absent. Alderman Milner.
Aye.
Alderman Reese.
Aye.
Alderman Miller.
Aye.
Alderman Dickerson.
Aye.
Alderman Davidson.
Aye.
Alderman Turner.
Aye.
Thank you, everyone. We're adjourned to executive session. Good night, everyone.
Now,